The next part that really tells college admissions officers about you and helps them to understand who you are is, what do others say about you? So, your activities or your grades tell what you can do. Your activities tell what you enjoy and how you enjoy spending your free time. Your personal statement is you talking about you. But the part where someone else talks about you, those are your recommendation letters. And if you're in your, especially your junior year, begin to think about, who do I want to give a recommendation about me? And what do I want them to say? Because it's one thing when you say something, it's another thing when someone else says something. Especially, again, remember, they are reading your applications in context and in relationship to other students in your school. So if Mrs. Jones, who is the math teacher, says, um, Jane is just the most exceptional student I have ever had. And they realize, like, after years, she's talking about maybe this student is pretty average, or this one is, performs above average or does well, but this student really stands out. Then because they have this relationship with the school and pretty much know this teacher and see recommendations coming from this teacher, it's like, wow, this student must really be, something to consider. So when it comes to recommendations, think about who you want to provide that for you. Who do you want to write your recommendation letters? So typically, it all depends on the school, but many schools do require at least one and sometimes two. And when it comes to who they should come from, I always tell students to pick. So you want to pick one that makes sense in terms of your major. So if you're going into a STEM field, then pick one of your science or your math teachers. You don't want to pick art or band, one of your, maybe an elective course, but you want to pick one of your core courses. If you are pursuing a degree in journalism or English or creative writing, pick your writing teacher. Okay, so you can have an academic reference, and then you can also have a club reference. Sometimes they will say one teacher reference and then an other, and you can pick the other. Sometimes they'll say two required academic or two required teachers, so they have to be two teachers. But the other thing, the flip side of that, is make sure it's a class where you've done really well. So you don't want to just pick a math or science because you're STEM and you didn't do your best. So you want to begin to think through, like, in a year from now or 2 years from now, I'm going to be asking this teacher for a reference. So I need to make sure that I am doing my best. I'm getting help if I'm struggling. I'm growing as a person. I'm contributing to the discussion in the classroom. You want to begin to think through those things. Okay. The recommendation letters provide inside information about your academic ability, which is really important. Even if you struggle, a letter that is well done will really talk about who you are, and it will provide some examples. So if you maybe struggled and you had a C for the first 2 marking periods, but you met after school twice a week for an hour and you brought that C up to a B, your teacher can talk about that. So it should provide context and a little bit more information than just pure quantitative, your grades and test scores, and of course, not just what you say. Inside information as a member of the school and the community. So they are probably going to talk about, how do you relate in relationship to your peers, which is really important. And then evidence of integrity, any special skills, any positive traits. So a good reference letter will begin to speak very specifically, like, she's very hardworking or dedicated, or she listens to the ideas of others in the class, just whatever those qualities are.